All alone? Julia's finally done the right thing and left the case?
I beg your pardon?
Perhaps it's only a lover's quarrel, David. Then the worst you'll have to worry about is spending your Saturday evenings alone with the Sunday paper. But you're young. If you're lucky enough to be acquitted, which I doubt, you'll meet somebody else, maybe a doctor this time, or an Indian chief.
You know, if you're trying to get me angry, it's not going to work.
Totally unflappable, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't say as I'm surprised. I've always found you a bit of a cold fish, David. Certainly easier for me to imagine you killing your wife in cold blood than in the heat of passion.
You've no right to talk to me like that.
David.
Well, we're not as even-tempered as we thought, are we?
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I must have lost the synapse between my brain and my lips.
No, don't apologize. I know what it's like to give in to an impulse. I've done it myself once or twice.
Yeah? Listen, I'll be going home.
Thanks for lunch.
Yeah, we should do this again sometime. Lunch.
Yeah, I like that.
Stand to see her that way?
I know. We're going to have to work fast if we're going to get Kelly's case reviewed.
I'm going to talk to the judge again, and the DA, and anybody else it takes. I'm going to move her from this hospital and get her another doctor.
You realize that might be tough.
Cruz, you've been wonderful. Thank you.
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Just a minute, Mr. Castillo. I want to talk to you.
What about?
I don't like deceit, particularly from a policeman. I checked with the judge in Kelly's case, and no court order was ever issued. This is a total fraud.
Oh, now that form is legitimate and it's all filled in. It's just not signed, that's all.
What kind of a game are you trying to play? I will not allow you to manipulate me or this institution.
I saw my sister, Dr. Rawlings. I don't like the treatment that's been given to her here.
The treatment I prescribed for Kelly is working, and any reputable psychiatrist would agree. What did harm her, however, was your visit. You just may have done your sister irreparable damage, Miss Capwell.
I don't believe that.
It doesn't matter what you believe. You don't have the qualifications to judge.
How can it possibly be right to keep the girl from her family, Doctor? To isolate her from the people she loves?
All I can tell you is I'm going to make sure my sister is moved elsewhere.
Fine, try. You'll find that there's nothing you can do. Nothing. Get out. Just get out.
What are you talking about, Pearl? What do you mean you can't work today?
Well, I've been called to testify in court. Julia subpoenaed me, and I don't have a choice. I got a show.
Julia wants you to testify on behalf of David?
Oh, no, not exactly. She wants me to testify against Lionel Lockridge.
I beg your pardon?
Well, it seems that he's a witness in the case, too.
I don't understand.
Well, somehow he's involved with this whole caper.
He knows something about Madeline's death. I don't believe this. I'm gonna have to cancel some meetings. I was also supposed to go see Kelly today.
Well, you're gonna attend the trial, too?
Of course I am. I gotta find out what the hell is going on, don't I?
Should I get that?
It's either you or me.
Right.
Hi. Hi. I'm here to see Mr. Capwell, Mr. C.C. Capwell.
Oh, yeah, sure. Come on in. Can I have your name?
Oh, yeah, I'm Keith Timmons, district attorney.
Oh, okay. Make yourself comfortable. Be right back. Mr. C, it's the DA, Mr. Timmons out there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, hello. I haven't had the privilege of meeting you yet.
How do you do?
A pleasure. I wish I could have been here under happier circumstances.
What does that mean?
I had a message earlier today from my office. It seems that your daughter Eden and Cruz Castillo are up at the hospital with fake legal documents. They use it to get in to see Kelly.
Oh, that's wonderful. I told them to stay away from there.
You knew about this?
No, but Kelly's doctor said they're not supposed to have any visitors, and Eden was all set on seeing her sister.
Well, it seems they created quite a scene at the hospital over the treatment Kelly is receiving. I checked out his Dr. Wrong. He's a first-rate psychiatrist, but she let him have it with both barrels.
You've got to prove Sheila's lying about me or I'm finished.
Look, I just got off the phone with Mick. He's working on that very thing right now.
Well, how about if he hurries up? It's the ninth inning here.
Relax. What did Mason say to you?
I don't know.
You have got to keep on top of your emotions, all right? And there's Lionel. I have to talk to him. I'll be back in a minute.
Great.
Ciao.
Well, we're here.
I wish you'd reconsider, Julie.
I'm sorry.
Is there any way this can be avoided?
There isn't. Believe me.
I will never forgive you if you damage Lionel. Is that clear?
I give you my word. I will be short and to the point, and I won't ask any details that aren't absolutely necessary.
Excuse me, there's Brick. I want to talk to him for a minute. Just over here. You think about it?
Yeah, I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do.
Good, terrific.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to let Grant Capwell explain it to you. He's here in town.
He's in Santa Barbara?
Yeah. I don't want anybody to find out. God help us if CC hears about it. So keep it to yourself, okay?
Yeah, I'm just wondering now, how are you going to be able to avoid telling the whole story on the stand?
I don't know either. But I know I'll go to jail before I let one word of this get back to CC.
Me? How am I supposed to help you if I don't know what's going on?
I'm going to let Grant Capwell explain it to you, because he's going to do it a lot better than I can. See, this isn't about my revenge. It's his, too. And before we're through, CC is going to come crawling.
All right, you two, let's straighten this out. The DA here says you used fake papers to get into the hospital today to see Kelly. Is that correct?
Yeah, I filled out some papers. We bluffed our way in to see her.
Oh, Eden.
Daddy, I told you I had to see her.
Cruz, I didn't expect you to get into this.
I wanted to help.
I don't think you know all the trouble you can get in over this. I'm surprised Cruz didn't explain this to you.
Hey, Eden did nothing but ask. I'm the one who forced the issue, and I didn't do anything illegal, all right?
Well, for starters, you misused departmental forms.
Oh, Keith, come on. What is important here? What I did to a piece of paper or what that doctor was doing to Kelly? And he's got her so stoned she can barely stand up straight. I don't see how that is going to help her.
Well, now you're an expert psychiatrist.
Mr. C, you should go up there and talk to her. Try to talk to her. You have no idea what kind of shape she's in.
Look, Rawlings called a little while ago. He said you're going there. Caused her a setback.
That's ridiculous. She wanted me there. She didn't want me to leave.
Baby, how do you in the world know what's good for her?
She was begging me to take her away from there. Would she be doing that if everything was all right?
Baby, you don't know about these things. Now,
I
come on.
saw her. I heard her, Daddy. I'm telling you, she's in a situation where she's dealing with a doctor that's incompetent. I want her case reviewed. I really want that. And I want you to see her because I've seen her and you haven't, and there's something terribly wrong going on up there. I want you to do this for her.
All right, I will. I'll make some inquiries. I'll, see what's possible. You know I only want the best care for her.
I know, Daddy.
I don't want you doing any more of this kind of thing. Get yourselves in trouble, both of you. He was very upset, Rawlings, and he caused a lot of trouble. He's appointed by the court, you know.
Yeah, I know, Daddy. Thank you. And I'll make some calls myself to see if I can do anything, okay?
I'm glad you're willing to help.
Who's willing to help? She's my baby. I got some things to do first, and I'm going to try to go see Kelly. You're my baby, too.
Thanks, Dad.
Come on, Pearl, move it.
I am coming, Doc. I need to talk to you. It's very important. I'll see you at the courthouse.
Got it. Well, I guess I'll be taking off, too, unless the DA is of a mind to press charges.
No, not at the moment. You try something like this again, though, then.
Bless your generous heart. I appreciate the slack. I'll talk to you later, Eden.
Cruz. Thanks for everything. I couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.
Well, is that it, or do you want to arrest me?
I don't know, no. But I would want to talk to you for a moment.
About what?
Santana explained your relationship with Cruz. I'm her friend, and I don't want to see her hurt, you see.
I would never do anything to hurt Santana.
Well, if you are thinking of taking him away from her, I wish you do it as quickly as you can. Be easier on her. And that's all I have to say.
Try these and tell me they aren't the best darn cookies in the whole wide world. Taste what everybody's talking about. The cookie that's making America's mouth water. Try one of these. What am I gonna call them? Gina's cookies? Gina's chocolate chips. I need something a little more homespun. Mrs. Capwell's cookies. Of course, that's perfect. Buy a batch of Mrs. Capwell's cookies and make my day.
You realize we've been sitting here in total silence for an hour?
I knew you had a lot of paperwork to do. I was just letting you do your work.
Look, I know you're upset with me because I saw Eden this morning, but again, it was for Kelly's sake. I really think she's in trouble.
I understand.
When you say it that way, I don't think you do.
I really wasn't trying to be sarcastic. I really do understand. Now, please, don't apologize.
Well, let me at least explain it again to you. Now, I have always felt especially close to Kelly. Joe Perkins was my best friend. He would have expected me to look out for her, and there's something wrong with this doctor who's treating her. I don't know exactly what, but I can tell something is wrong. Now, I just want you to understand that me helping Kelly has nothing to do with Eden.
But it does keep Eden in your debt. It makes you closer together.
But if it does, that's not the point.
All I know is that I've been feeling so lonely.
I don't want you to feel that way.
I don't like what's happening with us.
Nothing is happening with us.
All right, then it's just happening with me then. But I still don't like it. I don't like doing what I'm doing. I don't like feeling the way I feel.
I don't want you to feel lonely either.
I don't mean just that.
What else do you mean?
I just feel so angry sometimes. Cruz, I don't want to lose you.
Look. The last thing in the world I want is to hurt you. You gotta believe that.
Maybe you don't want to, but sometimes we can't help ourselves, can we? I have to go for a walk on the beach. I need some air.
Okay, do you mind if I tag
No,
you?
no, I need to be alone. I need to do some thinking.
Well, Lionel, I understand you're taking the witness stand today.
That's right.
Well, good. I thought I'd come down and see you in action. Had no idea you were involved in this case. Had no idea you were involved with Madeline.
Well, there are all kinds of things you have no idea about.
Huh? What are you going to be testifying about, Lionel?
I'd rather not tell you. Why don't you just wait and see?
You be sure to make it interesting.
Want a freshly baked cookie? It's on the house. Freshly baked cookies, anyone?
What do you know? It's the Cookie Monster. I'm surprised you're sung so low.
I consider it a step up, Augusta. Try one and see if you don't agree.
I'm surprised you're not selling poisoned apples.
Oh, be nice, Augusta. How about you? Shouldn't the condemned man eat a hearty cookie?
That's really tasteless.
Mason, wait a minute, will you?
Dad, what are you doing here?
Well, Pearl told me that Lionel's going to be testifying today, and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, a lot of us are waiting for that.
Well, what's it all about? What does Julia want?
I have no idea. I guess we'll both have to find out together. Unless you can get Lionel to tell you.
You've got to be kidding. He won't tell me anything.
Well, then I suggest you find a seat and wait for the show to begin.
You're a big help, Mason.
Thank you.
Good luck today. Keep up the good work.
You're not going to come watch me?
No. I have a heavy schedule today. I'll monitor you on television.
I'm hurt.
Cookie, Mason?
What is all this?
Why don't you try one and see how you like it?
I don't believe it.
Come on, the proof of the cookie is in the tasting. Try it, they're great.
You know how I feel about anything you give me to eat, Gina. Had one bad experience too many.
Oh, Mason, you carry a grudge much too far. I've been handing out freshly baked cookies all over the place. You think I'm trying to commit mass murder? Taste it. What do you think?
Well, it's good. It's very good. Not like roses.
Really? Yeah, I'm going into business for myself. I'm quite serious about it. I'm even going to be marketing them. How does Mrs. Capwell's cookie sound to you?
Sounds like you need to find another name.
Actually, I like Mrs. Capwell's cookies. After all, that is my name.
Yeah, but I think you'll be sued if you use it. And I'll be happy to represent the plaintiff.
Well, I'll jump off that bridge when I come to it. Right now, I have more important things to discuss with you. Like the new district attorney. What do you think of him?
I don't know how he feels about cookies.
I mean, personally. What do you know about him?
Well, he's single, if that's what you're driving at.
I'm not after Mr. Keith Timmons. But he's after somebody else. I think you'd be shocked to find out who it is.
Oh, really? Well, you know how I love to be shocked, Gina.
I love it when I see your ears perk up, Mason.
Gina, do you know something, or are you just looking for a little attention?
I know a lot of things, like how to make a great cookie. Have another Mrs. Capwell's.
You all take your seats, please. Court's about to reconvene.
Anybody want another cookie? You sure they're really good?
Gina, what are you doing?
Isn't it wonderful? I'm finally going to become totally self-sufficient. I won't have to depend on handouts from C.C. Capwell anymore. I'm going to market these.
You're gonna sell cookies?
Why not? Not dignified enough for you? Well, there's a whole lot of money to be made in them. Besides, try one. They're fantastic.
No, thanks. I'll take your word for it.
Suit yourself. This is all part of my new positive attitude, way of living. That's right. Eden, I think we can all become masters of our own fate if we work hard enough at it. And if we can find the kind of work we like. Life can be a lot more pleasant if you're doing what you want to do. Don't you think so?
Yeah. Look, I've got to go.
Wait a minute. I'm not just talking about in working situations. I'm talking about relationships as well. You and Cruz are a great example. I mean, the two of you are perfect for each other. But you deny your love because it's not socially acceptable. Yet neither one of you are really going to be happy until you admit it to each other that you really love each other. Am I right?
Look, Gina, I really don't want to discuss this.
I'm on your side, Eden. I would love it if you and Cruz were able to get back together. I realize that there are Santana's feelings to consider and that she's an obstacle. But your love for Cruz is what really counts. And she's not an immovable obstacle. Sooner or later, she's going to have to understand and step out of the picture.
Why are you... Oh, I get it. You want Cruz and I to get involved because it'll give you an easier way to get your son? Is that why you're so interested in my love life?
Well, Santana being divorced and alone is an interesting thought. But I hadn't really considered that.
Like hell you hadn't.
sir.
Mr. Capwell, I'm Brick Wallace.
Ah, yes, I know who you are. Lionel Lockridge told me you were coming by. Sit down, please.
Thank you.
That's all. I gather you know all about the deal between Lionel and me.
Well, not much. Lionel preferred that I hear it all from you. I gather whatever it is will have a pretty disastrous effect on CC.
Indeed it will. Brick, my brother is a thief and a liar. For 30 years, he cheated me out of my birthright and ruined my life. Half of everything he owns is mine. I intend to get it back. And I don't care what happens to him in the process.
I have here a diary. Do you recognize it?
It's Madeline Lorent's diary.
Your Honor, we ask that this be marked as Defense Exhibit 1 and entered into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Capwell?
Only that I fail to see what bearing it has on anything, or indeed what it is that's being asked of this witness.
A little patience will solve that.
The date book will be accepted in evidence and marked as requested. Please continue, Miss Wainwright.
Thank you, Your Honor. The date book was kept in a private code. Prior to the commencement of this trial, you were asked to examine that and determine what these entries represented. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Were you able to decode this?
Yeah, there was no problem with that.
There was one particular entry noted several times that you brought to my attention. Would you describe to the court what that entry represented?
It was the letter L, squared. Judge, that's L with a small raised 2 above it. It was a jotting that appeared several times during the course of the date book, during which time Mrs. Laurent was visiting the bungalow. Also, I was able to determine that there were several erasers in that same date book. Now, simply by reading the impressions made by the erasers, anybody could see that L squared was scheduled to meet with a Mrs. L at the approximate time of the fatal attack on her.
Objection, Your Honor. This is all irrelevant and immaterial. Some cryptic personal notations. I fail to see any possible...
Your Honor, we're going to establish the relevancy very soon with another witness. Right now, I have no further questions of this witness, and thank you. However, I would like to submit an independent forensic expert's report who ran tests to substantiate the fact that the erasures were indeed made in Madeline's date book as the witness testified. We ask the court that this be entered into evidence as Defense Exhibit 2.
I have the same objection. I fail to see where any of this is leading.
Cross-examination?
No, Your Honor, none.
The witness is excused.
The defense would like to call to the stand the person referred to in Madeline Laurent's diary as L squared. The defense would like the call to the stand Mr. Lionel Lockridge.
Yes. I am L squared, referred to in Madeline's date book.
Mr. Lockridge, how often did you meet with Madeline?
7 or 8 times, maybe?
Always in the bungalow?
No, occasionally in restaurants.
The L square was marked in her date book on the day of her murder at the very time of her attack. Were you with her then?
No.
Do you have proof?
I had an appointment to meet her at about that time, but I arrived a half an hour early and only stayed 5 minutes, and I don't have proof. No. But Madeline was unharmed when I left that apartment.
Mr. Lockridge, what was your reason for the meetings with Madeline?
Business engagement.
Your Honor, I have a note from the deceased to Mr. Lockridge. We ask the court that it be entered into evidence and marked as Defense Exhibit 3.
I object strenuously.
Would you like to see the note, Your Honor?
Please. Yes. Let this be entered as Defense Exhibit 3. Proceed.
This note was dated 1 day before Madeline's murder. Mr. Lockridge, would you be so kind as to read this note to the court?
Lionel, I'd suggest you meet me at 11 a.m. tomorrow at the bungalow. I'm not happy with the way things are going, and if I'm not made happy soon, it may be necessary for me to expose our whole arrangement. I know what that would do to you, so don't force my hand. Just be there, Madeline.
Your Honor, I object to this note and this entire line of questioning. Counsel is making a desperately transparent attempt to obscure the guilt of the accused by casting dubious suspicion elsewhere.
I'm going to let it stand, but I caution you, Miss Wainwright, to keep and confine your questions to this case and your own client's innocence or guilt. Let's not wander about here.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lockridge, could you tell us, please, the meaning of this note?
Well, I think it's self-explanatory, isn't it? I was conducting business with her, and she wasn't too happy about it.
How close were you to Madeline?
Objection. What does Mr. Lockridge's relationship with the deceased have to do with Mr. Lorent's trial?
Your Honor, the next question will make this very clear.
Objection overruled.
Mr. Lockridge, isn't it true that you were having an affair with Madeline Laurent?
Your Honor, no.
Order!
And that you needed the secrecy that the bungalow provided because at that time you were reconciling with your ex-wife who had control of the Lockridge money and you couldn't afford to have her find out about your rendezvous?
Well, we've got the same situation again, don't we? Your Honor, what does Mr. Lockridge's relationship with the deceased have to do with this?
I was not having an affair with Madeline.
Would you wait a minute, Mr. Lockridge? Could we have a ruling, please?
I'm going to reserve on this ruling and see where she's going to go with this. Proceed.
Mr. Lockridge, you said you never had an affair with Madeline. Yet you met with her repeatedly in secret. And yet she sent you peremptory notes ordering you to meet with her under threat of exposure. If you had nothing, if you weren't having an affair with her, what was she going to expose?
It had to do with our business arrangement, and I see no need to go into those.
All right. Perhaps you'll answer me this. Did, during any of your meetings, she bring up anything about her relationship with her husband?
Yes.
And how did she categorize it?
We didn't talk much about her personal affairs, but she never said anything derogatory about it. I did not have an affair with Madeline. We had business meetings, but no affair. I want to make that clear.
And yet you met with her frequently in private. All right, let me see. You saw her on the last day of her life, by your own admission, very near the moment that she was killed. And this letter suggests that you may have had the motive to silence her. So, motive, opportunity. Mr. Lockridge, isn't it true that you could have killed Madeline?
Your Honor!
Again! I repeat, I was not having an affair with her, nor did I murder her. And I swear that to this court.
But this isn't necessary, Mr. Lockwood. You're not on trial here. You don't have to defend yourself against a charge of this order. Counselor, I'm going to sustain the earlier continuing objection and put an end to this line of questioning.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Capwell, I'm going to call for a slight recess before you start your cross-examination. I think we can all use it. The court will recess for 20 minutes.
Yeah, Cruzy, if you don't mind, can I talk to you a second outside?
Yeah.
I suppose the first thing I should tell you is why Madeline was meeting with Lionel here in Santa Barbara. Lionel had come to her with a proposition. He told her he had proof that I wasn't the thieving liar Cece made our father think I was. And, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back a little. When Cece was engaged to his first wife, Pamela, Cece thought that I was also seeing her on the side. I denied his accusations, but he didn't believe me. He went to our father and told him that I'd been stealing from the company. And there was money missing. Over $1 million.
So, Cece stole it himself to frame you, or?
I never could prove that. All I knew for sure was that I never touched it. But Cece came up with some kind of proof, and Dad believed it. He threw me out. Pretty much cut me out of his will, too. And when he died, he left virtually everything to Cece. Well, I managed to make something of myself without him. I've done very well. But half the Capwell Enterprises is still rightfully mine, and I intend to get it back. And I believe Lionel is in a position to help me. Not long ago, he came to me through Madeline and told me that he knew who had stolen that $1 million from the company way back when, and that he could help me prove it, and he would, if I would agree to share my good fortune. And now, since Cece forced Lionel to give up all his holdings to pay off his son's gambling debts, I have agreed to help him recoup those losses.
That's incredible. So, in other words, Lionel has something that proves that you didn't take the money.
He'd better not be bluffing. Because I want revenge on Cece and on the person who took that money. I hope to God they're one and the same.
Yeah, I think that the way you and Eden has this Dr. Rollins sized up is dead on. Now what we do is we size up his files.
What does that mean?
What do you think that means? We go in there, we rifle his files, we see what he's up to.
We're not going to break into the guy's office, Pearl. I'm on thin ice with the DA as it is. I might have played loose with a piece of paper, but I'm not going to take a crowbar to some guy's files. What are you so interested in this Rawlings for, anyway?
What do you mean I want to help Kelly?
Yeah?
Okay, so you know me better than that. It's something personal. I really don't want to go into it right now. Come on, Cruz. You're not going to stand around and watch this guy lobotomize Kelly.
I'm going to do whatever I can to stop that within the limits of the law, and I suggest that you do the same.
Hey, now wait a minute.
Now, you wait a minute. Take some good advice from me, and don't do something typically stupid here. I mean it.
Hey.
Pearl, have you seen Cruz out here?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, he just took off. Listen, Edie, I gotta talk to you a second. Would you step over here?
What about?
What about? It's got to do with Dr. Rollins and Kelly and this little institute he's got going. I think I figured out a way I can break in, check out the files, and maybe get some dirt on this guy.
You did?
Yeah. Why don't you join me over here for a second?
And what was the nature of the business you were conducting with Madeline Lorette, Mr. Lockridge?
It was an attempt to take over a company.
You and Madeline, huh? What company was it?
I'm sorry, if I were to divulge that, I would compromise my efforts so far.
Well, we'll let it pass for now. Mr. Lockridge, the defense has been trying to throw doubt on the guilt of the accused by misdirecting suspicion to someone else, namely you, to get yourself off the hook, so to speak. Do you have an alibi for the period of time in question?
I've already testified that I arrived approximately a half an hour early for an appointment that I had scheduled with her, and I only stayed about 5 minutes.
So you're saying you left the bungalow approximately 25 minutes before the estimated time of the attack on Madeline Lorette. Where did you go then? Do you have an alibi for the period of time subsequent to that?
I'm afraid not.
Yes, he does. He was with me.
You're out of order, man.
Well, I'm sorry, but he was.
Let the record show that the remark was made by Mrs. Lionel Lockridge.
The ex-Mrs. Lockridge.
Look, if there's going to be any kind of behavior like that in my courtroom, Mrs. Lockridge, you're going to find yourself held in contempt of court. Now, if you wish to be a witness for the prosecution, I'm sure he'll be happy to oblige.
Sorry.
Mr. Lockridge, can you validate your wife's statement?
Yes, I was with her.
And why didn't you just say so?
I didn't think that she wanted people to know that I was seeing her.
Well, that's an interesting form of gallantry. You'll testify at a clandestine meeting with strangers, but you don't want anyone to know you were with your ex-wife. That's remarkable. No further questions, Your Honor.
Witness is excused. I'm going to suggest that we adjourn for today, but the court will reconvene tomorrow at the usual time.
What do you think you're doing, telling the truth? Are you willing to get up on the stand and state under oath that you were with Lionel that afternoon?
I will swear it on a stack of Bibles. And I will tell you something. I'm very glad I was able to ruin your chances to hurt Lionel.
And the trial has now been recessed until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, at which time the defense will continue with its case. Live reporting from the Santa Barbara Courthouse, this is...
What's Gina doing there?
I thought you were at the courthouse. I was just looking for you on TV.
Well, I thought maybe you'd rather see me in person. Maybe not, though, huh?
Don't be silly.
We need to talk, don't you think?
Do you mean talk or argue?
Yeah, I know. It seems like that's all we've been doing lately is arguing. Like a couple of kids fighting all the time. I don't know why.
I know what most of it is about.
Yeah, I helped Eden out today, and that hurt you. But you know, it didn't make me feel particularly great when you threw Keith in my face at that business thing.
I know.
I mean, we have something worth fighting for here. We have a family now with Brandon. And we took vows. We said we would help and protect and care for each other.
Cruz, I've been feeling so lonely.
I don't understand why. I'm right here.
Cruz, even when you're here, you're not here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all of it.
No comment. I'm sorry.
So, you're having secret meetings with Madeline, were you?
That's right.
Oh, you're something else, Lionel. Always sneaking behind someone's back, aren't you? Usually with my women. First my wife, then my niece.
It just adds to the pleasure, Cece.
Yeah, well, whatever you were cooking up probably meant to damage me, too, wasn't it?
You'd be the last to know.
So what were you planning, Lionel? And how in the world did you get Madeline in it?
You'll find out when I'm ready for you to find out, Cece. But I'll tell you something. I'm not going to have any trouble lining up people against you, even to your own family. And if I were you, that's what I'd be worrying about.
Don't worry. When it comes to felonious entry, I am a pro.
I hate to tell you this, but in prison there are a lot of pros.
And cons.
Look, Pearl, I'll catch your act later, okay? Let's just do what we came to do.
Right.
Look, Griff, look at all these files. There's so many. How can we possibly get what we came to get?
I'll tell you what, sweet. I want you to check the files right over there. See the labeled current? And I'll look at the ones over here quietly. Older.
Why?
Wow, it's just personal business.
Give me that flashlight.
Hurry, get down, quick!
You're a wonderful liar.
I'm happy they didn't ask me to step into the circle of truth. That's worse than getting on the witness stand.
You gotta revitalize that. You know, you have a wonderful imagination in that.
Look who's talking. Lionel, seriously, you don't think there'll be any repercussions, do you?
No. As long as you stick to your story, they won't be able to prove it.
She'll never break me down.
You're a wonderful person.
Well, I mean, I was just sitting there. I was getting so upset listening. She had no right to put you on the witness stand.
Oh.
It didn't accomplish anything. I was just furious with her.
Don't be too hard on her. She had to do that to defend him.
You are a lot more tolerant than I am.
I know.
You do not.
I just want you to know that I'm very grateful.
Lionel, please, we are in a public place.
I'm just planting a kiss of truth.
Well, Julia, do you have any more inadmissible tricks up your sleeve, or are you going to rest your case? What's left of it?
Don't be so cocky, Mason. It's not over till it's over.
Oh, really? I thought it was, at least for David.
Well, we've just begun to fight.
Famous last words. At least you're dogged. I admire that in an attorney. I mean, who wants an attorney who admits defeat as soon as they're defeated, right, David?
I got nothing to say to you.
Ooh, it's sad. Nobody loves a winner. Well, I have something to say to you. Get a good night's sleep tonight. You're gonna have a rough day tomorrow.
Will you please just leave us alone?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude on your sorrow. I bid you both a good afternoon.
don't you just say it?
Say what?
Just say it. You don't have a chance.
Oh, David, I'm sorry. I had no idea that my sister was going to do that.
Why not? If she loves him, we might have guessed she'd say it.
Don't give up hope. Nick is checking out on that Sheila Carlisle angle right now, and I'm sure that there's a chance that we can prove that that letter is a lie.
Come on, there's no chance of that at all. I'm going to end up in prison somewhere or an electric chair.
Stop it. We're not nearly at the end yet, and even if the trial goes against us, we can appeal. I've already started building up motions for that.
So even you think we might lose. You tell me not to give up hope, huh?
I didn't mean that. I just...
You know the thing that's hardest for me? In spite of what the jury decides, is knowing that you still have doubts about me.
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, you do. Deep down you do, and that's the thing I can't bear.
Orderly! Orderly, someone's broken in!
Now, we gotta move. Kelly's files is not gonna be enough. I gotta get inside this joint and expose this witch doctor. Come on.
You can?
Go for it. What? Come on, let's get out of here. Do what I think I can.